Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Travis and this is DevTips. This video is a little bit different because the video that was scheduled for today went out on Saturday. I sent out a tweet on Saturday saying if this tweet gets retweeted 10 times, then I'll publish the video early, and it happened in like 10 minutes. So I felt like I had nothing to give on Monday morning when I know that most of you guys are tuning in and expecting some new content. So check out the one right there that was supposed to be on Monday's video. It's a new episode in the Parallax series. And then this video is going to be a little bit different. This is a behind the scenes at DevTips. I had a few questions about my setup on my monitor and a few other things. I thought, you know what, why don't I just give you guys a tour of the studio and a tour of like my tools, and it might be a little fun. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the kind of setup that I have when I'm doing introductions and outros, and maybe if I'm doing a video where I'm just talking to the camera or something like that. This is the setup. I've got my DSLR right here that I'm talking to. This is my microphone that I've been using for the past little while. It's called a Zoom H5, and it's got different attachments to it, but this is the XY attachment, and it's for general purposes. Let me take the camera here and try to do this. Okay, so this is behind the scenes. All right, so this is what it looks like on the other side. So that's where the camera goes, right there on that tripod, and then right below it, right here, I have a desk. And so if I'm talking to the screen, I'm looking down here for my. I have an iPad right here. I'm trying to. Okay, I have an iPad here. This is hard to do with two hands, and usually here I keep my scripts and my notes and whatever on this like little table. Can you see that? This is really hard. And then I have two lights on the side of me, and they're just, you know, $50 lights from Amazon with umbrellas on there to diffuse the hard light. And then behind me I have a small light here to throw, you know, to remove any shadows from the background. And the background is just like this white wall that I built into the garage. The garage itself is nothing impressive. In fact, it's pretty crappy. And I have some audio dampers like behind the camera, some sound absorbing kind of materials, but honestly they don't do very much work at all. They kind of suck. And then recently I got this green screen. So let me show you how that works. That will be talking about setup number 2. So setup number 1 is me standing on my feet. Let me get the light on my face. Is me standing on my feet in front of this white background here. And usually the microphone is kind of low on that table that I showed you, and it's out of the way. And I'm trying to address you guys like that, like on my feet, you know? Okay, so let me show you. Let me pause the camera, and then I'll show you how the setup works when I'm coding. Okay, so now I'll show you what it's like when I'm doing recordings of my coding setup. So let me spin the camera here. So I have my, let me back up. Okay, so I have a desk here in the middle of the garage with my iMac on it. It's a 27-inch iMac. I have it. It's like 2 years old, and maybe a little bit more than 2 years old. And I take that desk that had my iPad on it below the camera, and I put this camera on it right here. That's a webcam, and it's a Logitech webcam. I use it to record my face when I'm recording, and then behind me usually is going to be this so spinny around. Usually this green screen. And I just got this green screen. It's like this big, it's on a wire, and it's on a stand. And I just got it, and it's pretty cool because it lets me knock out the stuff behind me, so I can like put my face right on this bottom of the browser, like I've been doing in the Parallax series. And I don't know, it's all right. I'm not sure if I love it, but I've been doing it for these few videos, and I'll continue it through the Parallax series and then see where else we go. When I'm sitting at the desk, I have the camera on my face right here, and then I have usually the microphone is on this little tripod, and I have this other extension. This is a boom mic. This is what the mic looks like without the air fuzzy thing on it. So it's a pretty cool boom mic. It just sits there on the desk and records my face. So I have this kind of like weird office chair here in the garage with this little IKEA table and my iMac sitting on top of it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my desktop configuration, how I configure my windows and all that stuff while I'm recording, so I can get a good screen grab of it all and then edit a composite of that coding work that I'm doing later on to get you guys the video style that I've been using for the past few videos. So you direct your attention to my screen here. You see that it's a 27-inch iMac, so it's kind of big, but I have divided the screen into a few specific quadrants. On the right here, the right half of the screen is the browser. And when I'm developing, I have half of the screen for the browser, and the coding that you guys see on the left half of the screen when I'm doing the tutorials is actually just an eighth of the screen. It's just this little box right here. Now, what do I do with the other two, the 3/8 of the screen? Well, on the left of the coding, sometimes I'll put, you know, my console here, or my terminal here, or my code kit right there, and then below that I have this is where I put my notes. So if I'm doing a code example, sometimes I build them beforehand and make sure that my idea works. Sometimes I don't. I just kind of show you things off the cuff. So depending on that, sometimes I'll have like just some bullet points of things I want to cover while I'm going through the code. Because sorry if this is so dark. When I'm talking to you guys. In the first configuration that I showed you, I usually have a script, so most of the words are prepared and I have like a clear idea of what I want to say. But when I'm in front of the screen and I'm recording my code, it's all very candid. There's no script. Sometimes it's just some bullet points of some topics that I want to cover, and sometimes it's just like I've already done some coding and I've like validated my idea that I want to do, and now I'm like doing it for real in front of you guys. But it's all candid. Yeah, that's just a part of it. So I'll put the notes, you know, any notes that I have, or maybe the coding exercise that I did previously there, so I can make sure that I don't make any huge mistakes, although I totally make mistakes all the time. I use screen, what is it called? ScreenFlow to capture this the screens, and then I export the whole screen together. And then as one export, and then I go through another pass and I zoom in on just this eighth of the screen here, and I export that, and then I'm also you know, grabbing my face from that webcam right here, and I'll export that too. So I have 3 composite videos that I'm working with when I'm doing any of these tutorial videos. And I'll put them all together inside of Final Cut. Let me show you what a Final Cut project will look like. They can get a little messy sometimes, but generally they kind of have a like an expected kind of thing. Here's a video that I'm doing recently. My mouse is running out of batteries. All right, so can you see here? Down at the bottom, I have those 3 composite videos. The bottom is going to be the browser, the middle one is going to be the code, and the top one is going to be my face. So when I hover over that time in the timeline, you can see that the video is going to be those 3 things: the browser, the code, and my face. But then I have different kind of things going on inside here. Stupid mouse is not working. Come on, connection lost. All right, so in the beginning I'll have like different overlays and texts, and can you see that in the corner? Never done a video like this, so it's hard. Okay, and then like different overlays and effects and kind of explaining things. These green tracks are the music down there. So when I'm doing these musics, I'll either produce the music on my iPad using tools, music tools like a Korg Gadget or different drum machines or something like that. And sometimes I just get lazy and use GarageBand to just quickly whip up a loop or something. It's all custom though. 90% of it is all custom. And then yeah, so then it's like exporting to YouTube and sending a thing. So let me show you also my Trello. This is a big part of my production. Is of course the organization, right? The Trello. So here are all my Trello boards. This is the DevTips board. I call it DevTip 2015, and I have different sprints and kind of series planned out I don't know if you can read them. I kind of don't want you to. So here are all the, there are two kinds of episodes. There are series episodes and filler episodes is what I call them. So the series episodes are the ones where it's going to be a longer series, like these parallax ones. I'm working on a few other series I'm working on this one that I started in January that I'm really excited to share, but it's taking so long. And then I have these filler episodes here. This longest list is called the fillers, and I know this is blurry, and I'm doing that on purpose because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So this is the filler list here. These are the investments. So these are things to work on, like the DevTips community websites, like the promotional things, emails, different things like benefits for the patrons and things like that. And then I have these three columns are important. Somebody's driving by. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, these three columns are important for the actual production of it. So this one is called in production. All of these videos here are currently in production. They're not published yet, and I'm working on them all simultaneously at once. And then this column here with one video in it are all the videos that are recorded and done and on YouTube and just waiting for me to pull the trigger on. So I have one or two at a time there in case I don't make my deadline for every Monday that I want to do, and I need a little bit more time to get that video ready and perfect for you guys. Although they're never perfect, but so I have one video in the chamber ready to go in an emergency. And I try to make those videos that I have there in the what do I call it? The publish queue. I try to make those videos timeless, so they're not talking about anything that happened yesterday or today or tomorrow, but they're just kind of like general principles or big ideas that I need to share with you guys. And then this next column, these are videos that have already been published. So after I publish them, I'll just drag them into this column here. And these are videos that have been published this year, actually just this quarter. And there's been quite a few. And then these other next columns these are ideas for my Vine account, where I just talk about just really small. I call it just the tips, just small ideas, and they're just 7-second Vine videos. And this next column I call minutia, and this is just things that I need to remind myself, when I'm hosting on the podcast of Trav and Los, when I need to put out a new newsletter for my notes, what links that I need to have, in the descriptions of things like that. And then this last one, these are actually the notes. These are ideas for my notes and for my podcast. So I have other kinds of productions. If you're not familiar, I'll just take a second to talk about what other things that I'm doing. The first one is my podcast called Late Nights with Trav and Los. So I have a friend, Los Montoya, and he is my co-host for our podcast. And it's a fun podcast. We just hang out late into the night and discuss different topics, and either he'll be presenting or I'll be presenting. And if one or the other person is listening and kind of commenting and acting as if they were an audience member and just kind of asking questions and pushing back on the ideas to validate them and things like that. It's a lot of fun. TravandLos.com. If you haven't tried that podcast yet, I really, really recommend it. It's really good. We're having a lot of fun. In fact, we have a podcast episode coming out on Tuesday, so tomorrow. And this episode is... So if you can zoom in here, can you see the time? Wait, where's the time? Can you see the time? No. You can't even see the time. Okay, never mind that. But let me tell you what time it is. It's 3:57 a.m. I'm usually up early in the morning making these things. My sleep schedule is very odd. I wake up at midnight, and then I work usually on DevTips and other kind of things until about 4 a.m. And that's what time it is now. And then I take a nap for 20 minutes, and then I wake up again at 4:20, and I work until about 6. And that's how I'm able to make videos for you guys. That's what I make. That's when I write the notes, the email notes, and that's when I write podcast things and all that stuff. So next Monday, tomorrow, we're going to have a podcast episode where I'm talking to Lois about my sleep schedule. And I think it's the coolest thing that I've ever done. And I want you to tune into it. So here's a link, or at least there's a link in the description below to that episode. And it's a 2-parter episode, but you'll get a peek into how I construct my kind of whole daily routine around being able to have more time in my day to produce more videos and content for you guys. That was a long ramble about the podcast. What else do I got? So I have this newsletter. You can sign up at travisnielsen.com/notes. And this is not necessarily technical things for you guys like DevTips is, but it's more like it's a combination of like advice for your soft skill set, like like the videos that I've made about being a good creator, focusing on empathy, focusing on awareness and grit, things like that. So they're more skills for life, like life skills. And it's also a combination of a journal. So like I talk about what I'm doing lately and why things ended up this way and what I'm experiencing and how I can kind of use these experiences as principles to teach and help you guys kind of gain more experience and just kind of talk about these things. And everyone's really great on that. We reply to emails all the time and just carry on that conversation throughout the week. So I recommend signing up for that if you haven't already. That's at travisnielsen.com/notes. And then there's the podcast, Trav and Lois. And then I have another podcast that I've been doing. It's just for patrons. So if you're not already a patron, even if you're at just like the $2 level, you have access to the Patron Podcast, and I made it available on your phones and made it available on patron.com. So if you go to patron.com/devtips, there is more information about becoming a patron, and as a patron, you have access to different things like extra videos. Like something like this would normally be on the Patron videos, but since I did the whole weird Monday, Saturday thing, it's for everybody. And then, but also a part of that is the Patron Podcast is something I need to always be mindful of creating content for. So that concludes our tour of DevTips. If I left anything out, please let me know, and I'll try to answer your questions in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it already, check out the video that I published on Saturday, which is a continuation of the Parallax series. I have about 3, maybe 4 more episodes to go in that series, and then I'll be on to a different kind of project that I've been really wanting to get to lately. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye, and keep on hacking, of course. Gotta remember to say keep on hacking, because if you don't say keep on hacking, it's basically not a DevTips video. So keep on hacking.